is up, good people? Jungle Link here, hope you're doing well. It's been pretty choppy since the approval of Bitcoin ETFs. And today isn't a whole lot different. Most crypto tokens are up or down about 1%. Not a lot going on there. Now, when we look at the 7-day, we actually see some growth there. A lot of coins up 5-10%. You have big winners like Solana up 20%, Cardano up about 10%. So there's some growth out there. Of course, that excludes XRP, which on the 24 hours down about 5%, and on the 7-day down about 1%. Don't know why we saw that sell-off today. It's just kind of an XRP thing to do, I guess. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm super excited for the new EVM sidechain. And my buddy on Ledger today on Twitter posed the following question. He says, well, essentially, let's get this straight. A lot of people were combative about Zahao, a sidechain, a separate ledger. But now we have this EVM sidechain and people are excited. Why aren't we attacking that like we did Zahao? Is everyone being a bunch of hypocrites? Now, first let me set the record straight. I've come to appreciate what they're doing with Zahao and building out that hooks functionality, and I want to see them do well. So I'm not anti-Zahao at all, but I am much more excited about the EVM sidechain. Why is that? Why would I like one over the other? And I think the main thing when we look at Zahao, it's just one direction. Taking value off of the XRP ledger, never to come back on. You are a one-directional bridge where you are burning XRP, and there's not really the same complementary setup that we're seeing with the EVM sidechain. To me, that's why people are going to be more excited about this. Now, just because that's the way Zahao started doesn't mean it has to stay that way. We may get a bi-directional bridge at some point, or possibly we can burn them back onto the XRP ledger. Like, a lot can happen here, but from day one, I think it's kind of sensible why people will be more excited about this newest sidechain. It's very complementary in nature from day one. And so On Ledger says the following, well, what does an XRP Ledger EVM offer that isn't already available on other ecosystems with EVM other than a network token, as it offers no new technology? And then his follow-up question to me is, well, who would even build on this EVM system? This is my way of thinking. Almost every application builder in the world today builds on EVMs. There's a small group of people that are building on hooks. But outside of that, if you're building an app, if you're going to build an app, you're going to do it in an EVM type of environment. And so the answer is, who's going to build with EVM? Pretty much anyone who already builds applications or will be doing so in the future. That encompasses pretty much all of your app builders in the world today. And so On Ledger goes on to explain that, look, this is really something that Ripple is going to use to wrap XRP and be able to move it on this sidechain and essentially sell it on the market. Because now you're trading on a secondary market. No one knows who the seller is. And so it would be more in line with Judge Torres's ruling. That, when they don't have that directional relationship, they could trade on a secondary market. And I get what he's saying, but in my mind, Ripple's XRP is exactly that. Their XRP, they can sell it if they want to. If they sell too much of it and crash the price, they lose more than me. That's just a fact of life. If you buy XRP, you have to know from day one, Ripple has a ton of it, and their selling can affect you. And nothing you will do can change that. But we see other setups like this. Look at Polygon Matic. That's a side chain of Ethereum. And they didn't say, well, we already have EVM on the Ethereum blockchain. Why bother to build Polygon Matic? Well, yes, you also have that capability on Ethereum, but especially during a bull run, it gets so expensive and so slow. You want to do a transaction, but those costs, those speeds, they're prohibitive. Well, you go over to a complementary chain. In this case, it'd be Polygon Matic. Just today, there was 247,000 transactions and about $114 million in volume. That side chain will put most layer ones to shame. Furthermore, we take a look at like Moonbeam, built on the Polkadot ecosystem. That's an Ethereum virtual machine ecosystem there. You have a lot of building, this flurry of activity on there, and so on down the line. Most blockchains are Ethereum virtual machine, and they either give you more capability, more speed, cheaper price. And it makes sense if we have something like this hooked up to the XRP ledger. You want to do something with smart contracts, but once your transaction's done, well, you want to cash out with finality. If you can move that money back to the XRP ledger, now you can settle out fast and cheap. It makes a lot of sense, actually, and I think we're going to see a ton of building. So this could be, highly competitive, and the question is, is there going to be liquidity there? Is anyone going to really finish this, or is it going to be like things we've seen in the past where it's a good idea, but it doesn't really go anywhere? Well, I think they're going to throw a lot of money at this because Ripple wants to use it. It's as simple as that. There's going to be a lot of funding, a lot of attention, and you're going to have Ripple really seeding much of that liquidity on that network from day one, and I think that will bring in a lot of action and a lot of builders, and this could be truly a big one here. I try not to get too excited about theory on the paper because that's different than a working and breathing ecosystem, of course, but this one's got a chance, and it might be big, and if they do it right, it will be big, because you can build smart contract applications, and then you can settle out fast and cheap on the XRP ledger. It makes a lot of sense. It makes almost too much sense, and this is really the vision right now. You know what? Hooks, we don't want to bring that on the XRP ledger. It could slow us down. It could cause problems. Let's take all that activity, shove it on a side chain, and keep the XRP ledger lean and mean for settling transactions, which is world-class at doing so. There's a really funny ruling today by a Delaware judge, Elon Musk. He was granted a $55.8 billion compensation package from Tesla in 2018. I'm looking at the price action here. In 2018, adjusted for stock splits, Tesla would be about $20 to $22 a share. It's currently sitting at $191. I mean, massive growth. How could a judge unwind that saying that's unfair or he's overpaid? Look, I wish every company that I invest in has that type of performance. What an amazing run Tesla has had. And to say just because that's a big number he can't have that, to me that is just ridiculous. I remember this happened to Howard Stern as well, where he had a contract where Sirius should have paid him a lot more, and the judge is like, well, you've already made a lot of money. That's more than enough. Like, that's not a reasoning. This isn't communist China. You can't put a cap on what people can earn. And, even further, where he argues, well, Elon owns a lot of the company and a lot of his, relatives and close associates do as well. That's public knowledge. If you don't like it, don't invest in Tesla, right? How did he harm investors? This to me is maddening. I don't like this kind of thing where a judge steps up and says, I think that's too much because that's a really large number. Like, who the hell are you? And likely, this is very politicized, ruling by this judge. And it's so ridiculous how political our legal system truly is. And we are so lucky we got the judge we did in that Ripple court case. Man, could we have got a really stupid decision for really stupid reasons. What a blessing Judge Torres was. Now, we see BlackRock and Fidelity really going neck and neck here. As of yesterday, BlackRock had $383 million in trading in their Bitcoin ETF, and Fidelity had $288 million. So they're fairly close. BlackRock has a pretty significant lead here, but you can't count out Fidelity. And I think they have more room to even bring their fees down lower because, again, they're not paying Coinbase to custody that asset. They're doing it themselves. They've been in crypto a long time. So this battle between those two will be really interesting going forward. And Grayscale continues to bleed out, but it is slowing. It's my opinion. You will see people sit in GBTC because they're sitting on big capital gains. And they're not going to want to make the move and incur a tax hit. But if we do see a sell-off, if we see a significant sell-off in crypto and that price of Bitcoin starts coming down, watch out because everyone's going to try to run through that gate at the same time. If there's no tax effect, there's really no reason not to make that move. You sell Grayscale and you move it over either to BlackRock or Fidelity, whichever you like, or even one of the other ETFs. This is going to be a slow bleed out for Grayscale. And what I want to see, does someone jump up here and make the move? Does Fidelity try to close that gap and steal this market? Or does BlackRock put the dagger in Fidelity's heart? If someone goes after Grayscale and acquires that fund, it is over as it gets. Now, personally, I don't care if BlackRock wins, Fidelity wins, but what that will tell me is if someone makes a move on Grayscale, this is important to them. That this space they think has staying power and they're willing to make a massive investment. Keep an eye on that. And if someone makes a move, it's going to be big time. Lastly, a lot of people are saying I'm flip-flopping. One video I do sounds kind of negative about XRP, and the next one makes it sound like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Look, I can be confident in an investment and still be able to say everything's not perfect. Is everything perfect with the governance of the XRP ledger? Absolutely not. The building, are there any applications? Yeah, there's a lot of shortcomings here, as there is with all blockchains. Everything needs constant improvement and development, and there's some key areas that we can work on with the XRP ledger, and I think will really spur massive, massive growth. So I have no problem pointing those out and saying, you know what, this is a problem we need to correct, but if we do, the upside is massive. The XRP ledger is still world-class at many important tasks. I don't see anyone really catching us in the interim there. And so, yeah, I'm supremely confident once we hit the next bull run, XRP will do fantastic. Make no mistake about that. But I'm not going to get on here and tell you it doesn't matter if we had 3 hubs, which are vitally important, and ain't no one stepping up to do that job, and now we only have 2, one of them being Ripple. Or if all our infrastructure starts shutting down, hey, Ripple can just take care of it all, and these magical banks will step up and do the job. No, don't work like that. There is no magical agreement that guarantees success. If you haven't noticed, we're going to have to fight for every little thing we get, and we've been doing it for years, and we ain't going to stop. Now, I may be wrong about a lot of things. I don't claim that I have all of the answers, not by a long shot, but there's nothing wrong at looking at various areas that need improvement, rather than relying on some mythical Illuminati and backdoor deals that supposedly is going to bring everything together. It ain't going to work like that. We will get what we take. And I'm happy that these subjects are actually being discussed. It's better than having people just running infrastructure, getting nowhere. Really bright people are having important conversations. And I think we're going to end up in a better spot because of that. Because we're willing to dig in here and fix issues. And there's really this explosion of building, whether it's a HOW, EVM, they're going to be building bridges, XRPL 2.0 scaling solutions. We have talks about governance. A lot is happening. And yes, there's conflict, but we're going to work through that. And I like where we're heading. No joke. I think XRP is going to really be a top performer this next bull run. And not because there's some secret deal with banks. Because there's some great building and they're fixing a lot of problems. And some of this stuff on the near horizon is going to be massive. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.